Welcome back to the NAO Show. This is week 5 in review. We have an 0-5 co-host on the deck, but we also have a 5-0 co-host on the deck. And here I am in the middle, just do 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 do. How you guys doing?
Better before you started that 0-5 bullshit.
I was having a tough day.
I also said 5-0, so it equals out. All right, guys, how we doing? What are we doing here? Come on.
Well, Mike was talking and we talked over him. So, you want to finish up what you were saying, Mike?
Oh, I was saying I had a tough day until you started your 5-0 bullshit. So.
All right, we got a lot to get through this week. It was a crazy week, but my favorite team lost, and I'm not talking about my team. Let's get into it, Marky Mark.
All right, let's start out with the scores of the week. We're going to start out with Orlando City FC beating FNG 211 to 109. So in a week where Tyreek only gets 11.3, Aaron drops a deuce. Start us off on this one.
Yeah, this is Aaron's team. We talk about the upside of his team. We talk about how many points he can score, and here you go. Here's all the proof that you need. The scary part about Aaron's week, like you said, Tyreek only with 11 points. He left some points on the bench too, so he could have scored even more. Buffalo's defense scored 17 points, so there's 12 points there that he could have scored. I mean, a week like that, leaving points on your bench, that's all you can be upset about. Like, dang, I could have scored 220, I guess. So if anybody missed it, though, that's the official top score of all time. It was 190, Goofy last year, but there it is, 210. Yeah. Of note, though, like we said, Josh Allen is the RB1 there in Buffalo. 11 carries, 59 yards, and a touchdown. I wouldn't mind it if one of my running backs did that in a week. So, Devontae Adams with 32 points. There's only good things to say about Aaron's week right now. The big news for me, Mark Andrews with 2 touchdowns, 2 2-point conversions. That was great for me. We'll get into that later.
2 tutties?
This is a great team that Aaron put together. This is what it can do. So, he's not starting from the bottom like he did last year. He's already up in the playoff spot. So, sorry everybody else.
Hey.
Well, we know how fast a playoff team can drop from the top rope, as they say. I see your Josh Allen, and I rate Lamar Jackson. Lamar Jackson put up 41 points on Monday Night Football. FNG, everyone thinks he's going to be the Miyagi winner. Sorry, bud. I wanted it. And he's putting up 100 points with some schlubs on his freaking starting lineup. Mark Ingram. Melvin Jones has actually been a really, really good wide receiver fantasy-wise. He actually had a bad day, which was kind of surprising. And Elijah Moore, he put up a whopping goose egg. And he still scored 100 points. That's pretty, that bodes well moving into the future. And let us just go over how many freaking first-round picks he has. He has over half of the first round. So if you want a first-round pick, FNG is at your beck and call, but you might want to bring the heat because he loves his picks.
Pick whore. He's a pick whore. we all know the way to get to his heart is with the picks. So, all right, let's move on to our second score, which is Tank Top Mike 170.48 and the Pooh Crew 166.36. So these were the second and third highest scores of the week, but unfortunately one had to lose.
Aww.
Thankfully it wasn't you. Tank Top Mike, start us off on this one.
5-0.
So in a match like this, I refuse to say anything negative. I'll leave that to your side of the scoreboard there, Sean. This was super fun. Ian and I were, we were talking a little trash, kind of all week, and not into the Monday night game. I kind of admit, as soon as JT busted out that 75-yard, screen pass, I threw my phone straight into the Gulf of Mexico, and that was it. I didn't want to hear anything from anybody. So, but now this was a fun week. The crazy part is the scores, like the matchups, all the way down. If you take position by position, Ian beat me in every single one, except for running back. And this is like the third or fourth week that I've given credit for a win to my running back trio. So here we are again. I get that Barkley went down, and that was probably the difference here, obviously. But to have that trio of running backs score another big week for me is fantastic to see. I hope we can keep it going. But that was a touchdown that Pittman caught. They clearly reviewed it, so everybody saw it. Dez
Totally
caught
a touchdown.
it. Dez caught it. Pittman scored. That's my NFL life right
now. Dez caught it. Pittman scored. Loved it.
I concur on both.
I just want to say one thing about that other team that we will not name, like Voldemort. I told you so. If you listen to the show, if you listen to me, I told you so. Saquon Barkley is injury prone. What was that? Oh, yeah. The Prince is right. He was broken. Do not. No. Like, Saquon Barkley is garbage. Straight trash. And this week proves it. If you had a fantastic backup running back like Devontae Booker that I had, he would have had 19 points. But Barkley blows the proverbial butt, and you get the big L.
That's all I got to say about that one?
That's all I got to say about that. Boom!
Well, I got to say, that was a freak injury, and I hate it for Barkley because he was just starting to come on, and I mean, you can't get much more freak injury than that, where guy steps up in front of him, he's not looking, he's not paying all the way attention to what's going on in front of him, and he steps right on top of his foot. And I've done that.
When a guy's made of glass, you think you should pay attention to your surroundings. So,
well, I've done that in basketball, and that shit hurts. I've come down on top of a foot in basketball like that, and yeah, your ankle has nowhere to go, but it just rolls over, So,
all jokes aside, when they showed his ankle on the sideline, it was massive, and I was like,
yeah.
I
had that so bad.
I did that to myself
too.
last April.
The good news is he can come back. Good news for that guy is he can come back. He can get back in there sooner than later. It's not going to be so bad for him. That's kind of a normal thing when you get a sprain of that magnitude, but he's going to be all right. He's going to get back in there. So, but hey, worked out well for Tank Top because if Saquon had stayed in the game, we're probably talking about the Pooh Crew winning this one. So good for you, Mike, that you got that luck on your side right now and cruising at 5.0, 5-0, 5.0, 5-0. All right, let's go on to our next score, which is Goofy Jace 154, Swamp Dick 131. So this was a tale of 3 wide receivers for Goofy, who cruised past the Swamp Dick. Mike, start us off on it, please.
Sam Darnold. Man, look, I get he has that rushing upside maybe some weeks, but man, at some point I think you got to start playing the matchups, especially with Stafford on the bench. Not that Stafford did anything more necessarily. Actually, looking at the scores quick, I'm not very good at math, but I don't think that Stafford in gets you the win over just Darnold making that swap. But at some point, man, that's got to be a consideration for me, I think. Although, when your running back's Derrick Henry, maybe you just kind of set and forget your entire lineup since the guy's so good. Another freak week from him. 29 carries. Like, come on, man. Like, that's nuts. It's incredible that he's still holding up, but it's fun to watch for sure. I can't deny that. But I'm not going to spend the off season watching workout videos of him. I'll just watch him I'll just watch him play football during the week. Although everything else aside, Kyle Pitts. There you go. That's the Kyle Pitts breakout game. Those poor London people got to watch that terrible game, but at least Kyle Pitts was involved, and that's Ricky was on the show. He talked about Kyle Pitts, how much he wanted him, finally got him, and broke out for him. So perfect. Congratulations. You may not have taken the win, but you got a lot of things looking up. So.
Well, I just want to give some credit where credit is due. Good job for Goofy Jace for being a closet Tampa Bay Buccaneers fan, and it really is benefiting you immensely on your fantasy football team. Let's go to the numbers, as they say. Mike Evans drops 26 points, two tutties, and Antonio Brown drops 27 points for 2 tutties. That's not even close to the old man river, Mike Williams, sorry, same difference. And he had 32 points, which I think that was the deciding factor in this matchup, besides the fact that his Dallas Cowgirls defense got 11 points for him. I'm glad to see that his fandom for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers is really paying off and getting him some W's up here in the NAO.
Hey, don't be picking on the Cowboys defense because I don't know if you knew this, but Trayvon Diggs were a wide receiver. He'd be scoring the same as Brandon Ayuk in half PPR.
I think we call that a Navek nugget. We look forward to more Navek nuggets in the coming weeks on chat.
All right, on to the next one. All right.
Oh, I just got to say, I saw Goofy today, and he's talking about this week's matchups, and he's like, yeah, man, I'm going to get Evans, and I'm going to get Brown. And I'm like, dude, can you give me 1 week of Chris Godwin? I really need it, man. Can you just give me 1 week? I told you, he's like, and Gronk might be back in. I was like, no, Gronk's not playing. It's going to be a Godwin week, damn it.
Mm-hmm. Let's throw to the young cat.
Yeah, daggone it, man. I need it. All right. Next score.
Good job, Goofy.
Yeah. He's doing his thing again, man. All right, next score. We have Silly Dilly 124, the Tough Luck Kid 115. So pretty much Brady and Uncle Lenny paced Silly Dilly to the win on my first bad week. First time I really had a kind of an off bad week.
Still scored 115 points.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Mike, start us off, man.
Yeah, I think, anybody that ran into some Bucks, and for some reason, everybody in our league, like, we just hoard Buccaneers. Like, they're on 3 teams, and, that's it. But Brady putting up 37 points is, pretty nuts. His age aside, that's kind of a freak week. Fournette as well, like, getting involved in the passing game, 5 targets, 4 catches. That's something nice to see from him. I think, Silly sort of did get away with one here, the Odell Beckham experiment. It's looking back as a previous owner, I'm glad I moved on from something like that. So I'm not so sure we'll be seeing him in some lineups going forward. But, who knows, especially because I think Landry is due to come back fairly soon, so we'll see how that plays into some things as well. I think, Devontae Smith, what a week. What a week. I'd love to be the owner of Devontae Smith right now.
Oh, yeah, me too.
The 2-point conversion, incredible. But
He'd be
nice
nice
win
in
by
my
Silly.
lineup,
I think the 9-point loss might be your biggest one of the year somehow. There's only 9 points.
That's why I say it's my first bad week, really. Otherwise, I've been right in the
Well,
thick of it.
Marky Mark, I got 2 questions for you.
All right.
First, how are you feeling about the Elliott trade? Now that you've had him for a couple weeks and you've seen him, how do you feel about making the acquisition of Ezekiel Elliott?
Yeah, after losing Cam Akers, I basically I needed an RB1 going into the season. Sanders was my RB2, and you know he's crap in the bed right now. So if I hadn't made that Elliott trade, I don't know that I'd be relevant at all. Even though I'm winless right now, my points have been up there, and
Mm-hmm.
big part of that's been Zeke. So he's doing what I thought he could do, and I know Mike thought he could do the same. I don't think Mike traded him thinking he was a bust at all, but I think he was making a good future move and trying to get some extra pieces to build his roster. So it was kind of a good move for both of us, I think. But yeah, he's doing what I thought he could do. I just think he kind of last season. I think he kind of phoned it in when
Yeah.
when Dak went out, and he he's out there thinking I'm not going to kill myself over Andy Dalton here, So, but you can see he's playing like the old Zeke, so I'm happy with it.
Yeah, I think Zeke is doing fantastic, and I really like that trade for all 3 of us, even though I got to wait until next year to benefit on Cam Akers. But you're welcome on Pittman, Tank Top Mike.
I told you I held the whole deal up for Pittman.
Question number 2. How are you feeling about Jamar Chase, and would you have picked somebody else in that spot?
No, sir, that was the target. I mean, I gave up McCaffrey to get a chance to pick him, knowing that I had a chance to get my wide receiver one for the future. So I'm real happy with it. I just wish I would have played him in week 1.
Well, I think besides Chris Godwin, I think everybody else really did what they were supposed to do. Besides, I don't know, McLaurin. You know, he went 4 for 11 and 46 yards, but he's playing with Heineke as a quarterback. I don't know if I can really hold that against him. You know what I mean? Real subpar quarterback play. I mean, he's a fantastic, absolutely fantastic wide receiver. He may have had a little down week, but he's trying to make up for real bad quarterback play. And I love seeing that you got Thielen. He had a down day, but I think better days are ahead. And like you said, you had a down day, but still was able to get 115 points.
Yeah. Now with McLaurin, I think it was more about Marshawn Lattimore, who pretty well shut him down. And I've been seeing him this week in the PFF tweets and how good Lattimore is, and how he's shutting things down on 3rd and 4th down. And so yeah, it was just one of those days where they say start your studs, and I did. He was against another stud. You just hope your stud comes out on top, and he just didn't this week. So I think there's better weeks ahead for him. So yeah, I mean, I wouldn't go back and do it any different. I'm going to put McLaurin in there every week until he's on by. He's in my lineup. So
A guy from ESPN, Michael Clay, he does a poll that does wide receiver versus cornerback matchups each week, and he highlighted that matchup, the Lattimore and McLaurin, and he said that Lattimore probably is going to get the best of him.
Yeah, he's a good one. I knew that was coming. And New Orleans has a good defense, overall. But like I say, you start your studs. If I sit him and he gets anything good for me, then I'm a dipstick for sitting him. So you put him in, and you just hope for the best. Didn't work out this week, unfortunately. All right, let's get on to our last score of the week, and that is the underdogs 128, the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air 86. So the underdogs get their first win as Sean suffered a goose egg and lots of guys in the red. Mike, start us off again.
Well, congratulations to the underdogs. You finally get a win. It took going against the Miyagi to get it, but we all start somewhere. So congrats. Not too bad. The Dak curse is broken, I think. They started Dak.
Yeah.
He did well, and the Cowboys won as well. So there you go. Another great performance by Najee Harris as well. I think at this point, the undisputed number one pick was, a fantastic one for him. That could not be going better, I don't think, for them. Even with Pittsburgh, their offensive line hasn't been great. They're slowly improving. But he's still been churning out points, so you can't knock that. Lamb finally getting involved, a little touchdown dependent, not all the way, but a little bit these days. But it's sort of what you get with an offense like that. But I think the big story on their side, even though they get the win, is Stephon Diggs. My question for you guys: are you worried about Stephon Diggs?
Go ahead, Mark. I'll let you take this one first.
No, he's going to be fine, man. It's
nobody's worried about Stephon Diggs.
Allen's spreading around, and he's playing at a high level. He's taking what the defense gives him. Diggs is going to get his, man. Diggs, if Diggs wasn't showboating a little bit, he would have had another touchdown, But he decides to showboat, and he looks over his shoulder, and he's like, "Oh shit, there's a safety there," So he's going to be fine. He's going to be fine, man. Diggs is one of the best in the biz, man. So not worried about him at all. What do you think, Sean?
Yeah, I'm going to just echo what you said. I think he's going to be fine. I think he's had a rough start of it because I think Buffalo Bills are trying to get Josh Allen to be an MVP. I think he's top 4 MVP right now. For me, right now, it's Kyler Murray, Lamar Jackson, Dak Prescott, and Josh Allen. Yes, I know. I've been on this show multiple times saying that MVP should not be a back freaking award, but you can't help but look at it that way right now.
I do have a I have a Stephon Diggs fact. Quick, this is a quick one. If Stephon Diggs' brother were a wide receiver, he'd be scoring the same as Brandon Ayuk in half PPR. Nobody's worried about Stephon Diggs, but that was the only way you can segue into
that. That's an amazing stat right there. He's a defensive back. Defensive back scoring more than a wide receiver. That's pretty amazing. What a Navec nugget that is.
Well, I like to see that Mike made the comment about everybody hoarding Tampa Bay Buccaneers players, but Dallas is right there with them. Anybody that starts for Dallas is a good start in my book. And I like seeing, when I got Amari Cooper, I was worried that they were going to go heavy Lamb because he's obviously a fantastic wide receiver. He can catch anything and he can do stuff out of the backfield. But Dallas is definitely spreading the ball around really nicely. The last 2 weeks have been a little run heavy, but I think that was a lot of game planning. So I like seeing that Amari Cooper, Schultz, Lamb, Zeke, they're all getting their points. And yes, Dak got his points also. I got a little of the injury bug this week. Galladay put up a whopping goose egg for me. CEH went down with his knee. Joe Mixon was on a snap count. And I did that thing that you shouldn't do. PSA, don't tinker on Sunday morning. Set your lineup and forget it. I had P. Ryan in there, and I saw something where it said Mixon was going to play, and I did exactly what you did, Mark. You got your stars, start your stars, because it would have been the same exact thing as McLaurin for me. But it came back and bit me in the butt.
Yeah. So, Heavy Lamb sounds like a Greek menu there.
It sounds pretty damn good.
Heavy Lamb. I like that. Heavy Lamb. Yeah. Well, That was a tough one for you. And unfortunately, that brings us into the Mr. Miyagi ass waxing of the week. I don't know if you can see this behind me. The ass waxing of the week goes to the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. Do you have a
All
speech?
right.
Do you have a speech
I
prepared
want
for
to
it?
accept my second award for the 2022 season with a thank you. A thank you to Schultz and the DBs for dropping him. And I just went in and whoop, scooped him up and set him on in my lineup. Thanks, DBs. Much appreciated.
I think he was your high scorer, right?
Well, no, let's not get freaking crazy here, all right?
It was
Yeah.
close.
I do still have Justin Jefferson on my team, which is by far better than Bateman. There's some argument out there that somebody thinks Bateman is going to be better than fucking Justin Jefferson. It's asinine. It's absolutely asinine.
Did you hear that in a crack house, maybe?
He was probably doing crack when he was telling me it, but
Yeah, sounds like a
The real
crack house
Navic
steak.
nugget.
What's that, Mike?
The real Navic nugget.
Yeah, the Navic nugget. I'm gonna start calling them crack house steaks. All right, Mike, run us through the standings if you would.
I'm
kind
still
sir.
first.
5-0, 5-0, 5-0. Mark is 0-5, 0-5, 0-5.
We do have a little bit of a shake-up moving around in the playoff spots, though. Aaron scoring 210 points is now one of the few 3-2 teams. Swampdick is also 3-2, but falls out of the playoffs because points scored. So it's going to be pretty important. Coming off the Miyagi speech here, scoring a lot of points is going to be important. So
Now that's
I
a
think
hard
it's going to
pick.
be cutthroat this year for those last two,
mhm.
maybe even last 3 spots. It's going to come down to points scored. I really think it's going to come down to that.
And we were all pretty tight with points scored, actually. And then Aaron did that, so he's at 741. I am actually second with only 728. So in any kind of tie, suddenly I got to find 20 points on Aaron, who's putting up a ton of points. So
Yeah, he is.
Ian almost fell out of the playoff spot, but he's still hanging in there. Again, points scored. Come on, Swamp Dick, score some more points, and we can see Ian fall out here.
Let's wait until like week 7 to score more points for Swamp Dick. All right.
Unfortunately, 2/3 of the NAO show are in the bottom 4 in the bottom playoff bracket. But I think that's going to be a point scored too, though. Who knows what's going on the bottom here. But again, we're going to kick it a little old school. We're going to go back to weeks 1 and 2. We're going to have a little comfort stat. The underdogs are still in the bottom 4. You get a win, you move up to 8th, but unfortunately still down there, 1 and 4 still. We don't need to talk about anybody lower than that, so we're done.
Well, let's move on to trades, guys. We got 4 trades to talk about, so let's try to get this thing rolling. The first trade we had was between the underdogs and FNG. So the underdogs received Cole Kmet in a 2022 third rounder, which was FNG's. FNG receives a 2023 second rounder from the underdogs. So the only player in this is Cole Kmet, who is the tight end 37, not used much in an anemic Chicago offense. Mike, tell us why this is a good or bad trade for the underdogs taking Cole Kmet there.
They traded Pitts, so now they have another person who plays tight end.
Probably shouldn't have dropped Schultz.
Yeah, I would have kept Schultz. I mean, Kmet has, some hype upside. I think if you're reading the wrong kind of blogs or whatever. Obviously, Kmet's not doing much this year. Who knows what's going to happen, I guess. But he does have some hidden upside. It's just not going to happen this year. And F&G hoarding some high picks again.
Yeah, I think this is FNG moving a third-round pick for this coming year and making it a second-round pick and getting a little higher caliber pick in 2 years. I think that was the move for FNG.
Yeah, that's a good move for him. Komet, I think, Mike, I think he's going to be good down the line, but it may not be this year. They got to get things sorted out at the quarterback position before Komet can be what they think he might be. But I don't know. I wouldn't call it for this year. Maybe he'll be relevant by the end of the year, but we'll have to see what happens there. Good upside guy, but definitely a future move there, not a win now move. I don't think anyway. All right, our second trade was between Swamp Dick and the Underdog. So Swamp Dick receives Tyler Boyd and a 2022 third rounder, which was Airgate 2020s. Underdogs receive Zach Moss. So I think someone's been listening to the show. We've been saying Boyd is the number 2 in Cincinnati. And if this isn't a shore up the flex move, I don't know what is. So Mike,
you gotta say copyright the Prince. You gotta say copyright the Prince when you say shore up the flex.
Shore up the flex TM. All right, go ahead, Mike.
Yeah, I think that's what it is. I mean, I like this because before this, Swamp was actually flexing in Zach Moss, and now he can flex in Boyd. And if I can flex in one of the two, I'm picking Boyd. And if I could own the other side of that is if I could own either Zach Moss or Singletary. At this point, I probably want to own Zach Moss. So sending him, I didn't necessarily want to send him when I traded him away either for those same kind of things. But of the players involved, I'd probably rather be flexing in Boyd right now because he's getting some targets. He's getting some targets in that offense. Yeah.
I always look at flexing a wide receiver as a ceiling play, and then flexing a running back is a floor play. I think a third round pick is nothing to bat an eye at. So I think Swamp Dick made a very astute trade.
I like it for both sides because I like Boyd as a flex guy. Talking about, we've been talking about him being a wide receiver too. I did a little bit of research, and all 3 of the Cincinnati receivers, Chase, Boyd, and Higgins, are averaging 7 targets per game. So it's a crapshoot of who's going to come out 1, 2, 3 there. Right now, of course, Chase he's the wide receiver 8 in the league, so he's the clear number 1 there. Still some ambiguity there between Boyd and Higgins. Higgins missed a couple of weeks, so we won't count that against him. But they're all averaging 7 targets per game. That's great. I mean, I'd love to see them all get 1,000 yards. That'd be freaking awesome, man.
Man, I'd love to have the quarterback throwing to him. Oh wait,
yeah, I do have that quarterback.
I do have that guy.
I like Zach Moss a lot, and they traded him, I think, at the right time because this week was the first week he went 74% of the snaps to 26% for Singletary. You could kind of see it coming, so I'll give the Underdogs credit for grabbing Moss at the right time. I like Moss a lot. I think that's running back depth in this league is a key, and they picked up a really good one there. So I like it for both of them, but I think I'd like Moss the best. I think I would give this to the if I was going to pick a winner, I'd give it to the Underdogs. I'll tell you, because that's a nice acquisition for them. All right, third trade we have is between Swamp Dick and the Fresh Prince. So Swamp Dick gets Michael Carter and a 2023 third rounder, which was Airgate's third rounder. Fresh Prince gets a 2022 first rounder. That is Aaron's pick. So, you got Carter, the playing time, it's kind of creeping up for Carter. 52% over the last 2 weeks. He may be starting to take over. We talked about running back. Depth is a key. It's. What do you think, Mike? Is this a good one for Swamp Dick, or do you like that first rounder for Fresh Prince?
This one's tough because this was what, on the 8th? What day was the 8th? Like before the games? Because before the games, I liked it. That first round pick for Sean, because at the time you didn't have one, and CEH was trending up. So you got you could move on Carter, and you got a decent pick there. But then with the CEH stuff, and could Carter have gone in there maybe? But that's a little after the fact. At the time, I think it was a fine trade. I think that everybody kind of knew, it wasn't a well kept secret that Swamp Dick did not want to get rid of Carter when he did. Probably wanted him back, and here's your proof. And
I'll let you look behind the curtain a little bit on this trade. This trade literally took 7 minutes to be done. Swamp Dick sent me an offer. I countered once. He said send it. It was done. Over with.
Yeah, I don't know. It's the pick that you got there, Sean, with the Aaron. If he keeps scoring 200 points a week, might be a kind of a low first round pick. But you didn't have any first round picks, so any first round pick is good. So I don't know. I think it's a good trade for both sides there. I look at Swamp Dick there, and he made a few trades. He gave up Zach Moss, but he got 2 running backs in return. He got Michael Carter. He got Mike Davis from me. But I like Zach Moss the best out of the 3. So he's got more depth, but I think he kind of gave up the best one. I think Carter can be good in the future. I just think it's going to be a slow process this year. It might be coming years before Carter is the better one, but we'll see. Swamp Dick may be telling me in a week or two. I don't know what the hell I'm talking about.
I will say this: 2 facts. Humpty, when he traded him, he did not really want to trade him. He really, really likes Michael Carter, like Mike had said. And 2, trading with Swamp Dick is a very straightforward process. There's no beating around the bush or playing these head games. He'll tell you exactly what he feels about a guy, and that is it. Like, there's no haggling, as they say. He's very straightforward. Very good person to trade with.
I like it when I'm in trade talks and you tell me how bad my tight end room is, though. That's my favorite part.
Oh, you don't like that?
Yeah, I like being berated. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Let me help you. Yeah, those kind of trades, man. Help me help you. Yeah, I agree, Sean. I've had some good experiences trading with old Swamp Dick there. So gotta say that you're right on the mark with that one. Not a lot of BS. Just let's get it done. All right, let's go on to our last trade, which is between McJammer and FNG. McJammer receives Adam Thielen. FNG receives Quintez Cephas, a 2022 second rounder, which was Goofy Jace's, and a 2023 second rounder, which was McJammer's. Staying true to the brand, I was shoring up the flex with Adam Thielen. Mike, start us off on this one and tell us what you think.
Yeah, this is another one we kind of have to look at it at the time it was made, since it does look a little bit different sitting here today. But I like this one. I think I was sort of waiting for FNG to be trading Thielen. It was sort of every time there was a new trade has been processed, it was like it could be Thielen, because it was pretty obvious that in a team that FNG's putting together, that he was going to be a target for that. I have Cephas in another league, and at some point I was thinking about, man, I should really be starting this guy at some, or thinking about it. So for him to move on from Thielen and get a guy that he could put in the lineup and some good picks again, some more high picks, what more do you want in a trade?
Yeah, I like this trade for both sides, actually. I like the fighting the dog, as they say, for the Marky Mark over here, and getting 2 second-round picks over 2 years. That's a great long-term play. FNG, his crack is a couple picks every few hours, and he feels good. I can't. All right, I cannot wait to see what this kid does with all these freaking picks. Like, oh, do you want a first round pick? Oh wait, I own all their other first round picks. I guess I'll just pick. Bing, 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 bing. We're gonna be done with the rookie draft in like 3 hours because F&G owns 3/4 of the whole fucking draft. All right.
Yeah. FNG, message to the next guy up when you're done picking. Yeah, for me, it really was just about getting another guy and then to flex. I know Thielen is competing with JJ. They don't pass a lot because they got Dalvin Cook, they got Alexander Madison, but
Last year he had 1,000 yards still.
yeah, I mean, he's out there. You know, his lowest snap percentage 93%. So he's out there all the time. He's running routes. You know, it's a matter of, you know, how much is he going to get over JJ? Pretty much a 2-man show there. So I think it was a good one to get on my roster and put in that flex, who can get me some boom weeks for sure. A lot of touchdown upside there. So I just hate it for F&G. Quintez Cephas got hurt the week that I traded him. He's probably out for the season with a collarbone break. I hate that for him because, you know, part of the trade was like, all right, let's get you somebody that you can start. You know, you still got to put a roster. You got to put together a roster, a starting lineup. You know, and I hate it for him that happened. But those second round picks could take the sting out a little bit when it comes time to draft. So,
Cephas will be back. He'll be back.
oh, he'll be back. He'll be back. All right, let's move on to next week's matchups. We're going to start with a marquee matchup of the week, which is Swamp Dick versus the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. So this is a big game to see who can stay in the playoff hunt. Mike, start us off on this matchup, if you will, please.
Yeah, I think, like you said, this is a big playoff implication one here. They're technically, you know, Swamp Dick's not in the playoffs, but he's got the same record as as some playoff teams. So, like we're talking about, we're looking for those points scored. He has pretty nice matchups. The one that pops out to me the most is Stafford against the Giants. I think, you know, anytime, really Stafford. You know, I think those Rams, that Rams offense is just nuts. I keep talking about them, but you know they're incredible this year.
Yeah, they really are.
They've been comparing a lot of that to you know, Kurt Warner and the Greatest Show on Turf offense and stuff, and how it's better or the same numbers across the board. So, you know, we get to watch it here in 4K finally instead of, like, you know, whatever. Anyway. But, you know, I like a lot of his matchups. I think that Chargers matchup with the Ravens, you know, with what we saw the Ravens do on Monday night, I think that could be kind of a shootout. And, you know, like Mark said, Lamar Jackson's throwing the ball really well. Hollywood Brown is the beneficiary of a lot of that. A lot of talk about Bateman on the show tonight. He's not playing yet, so here we are with Marquise. You know, another week of Brown. I actually think when Bateman comes in, he's going to dominate some of the underneath stuff, and Brown doesn't really change too much anyway. So I think this one's going to be a tough one for either of these guys to pull up, you know, take a win on. Do I want to declare a winner? I really don't right now because I actually don't know who could take this one. It's going to be that close to me.
Yeah, this is gonna be one of those kind of like what yours and the Pooh Cruise game was last week. It's gonna come down to the player. I think both of our teams are primed to explode, as they say. But as you can tell, my team is either a 70-point team or a 147-point team. There's no in between. So I just hope my team comes out. This week, they're saying Joe Mixon is a full go. He's not going to be on a snap count. He looked real good last week. I do have the injury bug still this week with CEH being down, and he went on IR for 3 weeks. Hopefully he's back in 3 weeks, but I got the handcuff there with Darrell Williams. He's a good catching running back that Patrick Mahomes is okay, feels okay throwing the ball to him. And then I still have some pretty good wide receivers, and we're just gonna see. This one's gonna be down, drag out fight. I think it's gonna be a good fantasy week for both of us, and it's gonna just come down to whoever scores the most. Obviously,
I like that you compared it to mine against Ian because Derrick Henry plays Monday night. So
There you go. Yeah. It should be a good matchup, man. Looking forward to that one. All right, the next matchup we have is the Tough Luck Kid going up against Tank Top Mike. So we got the worst against first in the first weeks of bye. No AK, no Alvin Kamara for Mike. So Mike, tell me why you're going to beat me without AK.
Oh no, did we lose Mark?
we lost him.
Oh,
Keep
no.
going.
Well, my trio of running backs, I just put DeAndre Swift right up there. That's all you got to do. You put DeAndre Swift up there, Chase Claypool back in, good to go. I'm tied. I don't know if you know this. Here's a fun fact. Tied for the best start in NAO history with Goofy from last year.
Ooh.
So if I win this year, if I win this week, it's another record of Goofies that goes down. So, what do you think, flaming football icon?
Well, let me jump right in here for Marky Mark. I actually think this is going to be his week. I think this is the 0-5 takes down the 5-0 team and puts the first loss on your losing bracket there, bossy man.
This is what just happened in college. Didn't Alabama just lose to like a bunch of high schoolers or something? So,
Texas A&M might as well be high schooler.
It's because Johnny Manziel was there. That's why.
That's right. I really do think he's going to do very well with this week. Because, this guy can't lose every week with how many points his team is putting on. And you can't think Adam Thielen is going to put up 7 points again. You know what I mean? So it's only a matter of time before this guy starts getting some W's. So
I actually
agree. I hate the fact that it's got to be against you, but the mighty has to fall someday. You can't go perfect, Tank Top Mike.
I think that I can, and I think that I will.
Whoa! Welcome back, Marky Mark, to the show. You just had to do a tea break? It's okay. We understand. You're old. It's fine. All right, we're going to move on to the Pooh Crew versus FNG lineup. Go ahead, Mike, and tell us what you think.
I think this is going to be Ian's revenge game. This is sort of like, when the number one team loses to a lesser team and then just goes and absolutely dominates, the next poor bastard that they have to play against. But really, this whole season
it just happened in the NFL too.
Didn't
the Bucks lose to somebody and just destroy Miami?
Yeah, it did happen. Yeah,
that did happen.
We've made no qualms or anything about what F&G is doing. It's clearly in a rebuild. Ian's fragile ego needs a little bit of a boost. So now we can go, pick on F&G for a week.
I hope F&G gets win number 2 against the Pooh Crew. I hope it happens because that would just be the cherry on top of the sundae for my season. I could lose every game going on out, and if FNG beat Ian, that'd be so good. So good. I don't know if we have Marky Mark back yet, but what do you think there, Marky Mark? Okay, we're going to move on to the next.
Interesting.
He heard the logic and did not like it. All right, we're going to go ahead and move on, Tank Top Mike. We are moving. Let's go to the Silly Dilly versus Goofy Jace matchup. What do you think about this one there, boss?
Oh my God, Goofy on this one? I'm looking at Goofy here. The projections are one thing. We've talked about on the show. Can Goofy manage a team with some injuries? And now we get to see if he can do it. Russell Wilson's out for a while. I imagine at this point Russell's already drank 2 to 3 gallons of nano bubble water or whatever he does. He's the greatest. Pete Carroll said that Russell Wilson's the greatest healer of all time. I don't know if you saw that.
I think he compared him to Wolverine.
That's absolutely incredible. Whatever. But we'll see what Goofy does. This is one of the first and obviously the biggest injury bug that he's had. So let's see how he bounces back. He's still got a pretty solid starting lineup. That's really the only bad, roster move he has to figure out. And, we give Goofy a lot of shit for some quarterbacks. This is when it's not so funny when you got to pick one of them to put in your lineup now. My guess is he's going to go Homer, and he's going to go with Jalen Hurts, and he's going down with that shit.
That's a slam dunk. He's definitely going to go Hurts.
I would do it too, though, yeah.
That's a slam dunk. The running upside for that quarterback is immense, and you cannot think twice about a solid upside running back quarterback. Set it, forget it. Oh, wait. Who didn't play a running quarterback that has had a fantastic year in week 5 and lost? Oh, wait, I think that was Poo Crew. He didn't play freaking Herbert fully loaded. This idiot. You deserve to lose if you don't play him.
I traded him and everything.
MVP year. He has running upside. He has freaking crazy wide receivers, and you don't play him? Whatever. All right, let's get into the Silly Dilly lineup. I think Silly Dilly is going to put up a really, really good fight against Goofy this week. Besides mine and Humpty's lineup, I think this is the second matchup that I'm going to be keeping a real close eye on. Because if we go into Philly on Thursday night with Tampa Bay, it's going to be a Philly versus Tampa Bay fight. And it's going to be knockdown, drag out. Tom Brady's going to have to throw 5 touchdowns again. It's going to be crazy Thursday night. What do you think there, Marky Mark? Can you hear me?
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Hell
yes, sir.
Yeah.
Hey, welcome back.
Sorry, man.
Let's start the whole show over.
Yep. Do over.
Run it back.
I think, Silly's going to need them 160 points he was talking about if he's going to beat Goofy here. He told me what was it? You'll be sorry when I go 3-1 and I score 160 points. Yeah. Haven't seen either one of those, unfortunately. He's going to need them 160 points in this one, man. Goofy's rolling again, man. Right up there at the top. And I hate it.
All right, that's going to lead us into our last matchup. We got the Underdogs versus Orlando City Football Club. He just dropped 210 points. Can he do it again? We're going to find out. Tank Top Mike, what do you got?
Can he do it again? 210 points is absolutely incredible, but he can score a ton of points any given week. He doesn't really have too many bye weeks that I'm taking a look at to really worry about. So he's going in pretty close to full strength again. It kind of looks like. So can he do it again? That may have been a freak week, but he's going in full strength. Chris Carson, sort of a nippy thing, but sounds like he might be out for a little while. It didn't slow him down at all last week, so who cares?
Those neck injuries, it's scary because you don't know what the heck it is.
And talk about a good team getting beat up and then going against your next week. Tyreek Hill, it's against Washington. Washington's defense was touted as one of the higher and better defenses, especially for fantasy. They've sort of underperformed that as well. So I feel like Tyreek may have a week.
Let's hope Patrick Mahomes doesn't forget that he has a running back that he needs to throw to. All right, Marky Mark, what do you got over here on the east side of the board?
I think, Aaron picked the right time to charge up the standings again. He did it last year and got it in the playoffs, doing a little bit earlier so he can maybe get a better spot in the playoffs. Trying to put a nail in the coffin there for the Underdogs. Carson's situation, what I saw was that it's they're talking about kind of like arthritis in the neck. It's
Yeah,
one of
it's
those
weird.
it's one of those pain management things. He may be back, but
He's not
a
on
big part.
IR at least. So yeah,
What's
He's not a
that, Mike?
what?
he's not on IR. So
Right,
Mhm.
right,
yeah,
right. A big part of his game though is just running hard and dropping his head, and yeah, he may not be able to do that as well as he's done it in the past. So he may be splitting time. I think he'll be back, but I think he could be splitting time with some of these guys like Travis Homer and Alex Collins, and they might have to manage his touches some. So he may not be that fringe RB1, high end RB2 that he was expected to be. It's kind of a new development here, and but yeah, if he gets what he needs out of Hill and Adams and Josh Allen, Hunt, Chubb, I mean, he's got the guys to do it. So Carson was kind of like a icing on the cake, maybe a cherry on the sundae, but maybe he doesn't need him as much after all, if all these other guys keep killing it like they are.
Mm-hmm. All right, so that's our week 5 in review and your week 6 preview. Come back next week and find out a real big trade happened at the trade deadline this week. Didn't make the show, but we're going to talk about it. See you next week. Ian, you suck!